that you love, covering all things professional wrestling. A show by members of the Busted Open Nation. Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Here are your hosts, the Nation's Corner crew.
Hey, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to the Nation's Corner. I am Front Row, joined by our cast of characters, Tony Justice, the greatest truck driver of all time, Mongrovian Mike, and Debhausen, the great and powerful, and also John in South Jersey.
Ooh, it's a party, mother effort! Summerslam!
Biggest party of the season.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Mongrovian Mike.
Yeah, here I am.
Yeah. Good deal.
I'm back.
Nice. Well, obviously we're going to be talking about SummerSlam. There's a ton of stuff that's happened throughout the week. There's been a lot of interesting interviews. I just want to touch on a couple things. Like Busted Open has had some incredible interviews this week. The stuff that they did on location in Cleveland with Drew and Rhea, Gunther, and Braun Strowman, and just such a great show. There's so many things. I love listening to that show because, especially when they're live like that, the wrestlers feel really comfortable with obviously Bully and Mark and having the legends there to shoot the shit with. I thought they were a really, really, really fun show. So if you missed those interviews, go back and check them out.
Yes,
Definitely.
And to piggyback that real quick, Dave's 2-hour preview show today, co-hosted mostly by WWE newest signee, as we have learned, the son of the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, WWE Hall of Famer. Jacob Henry makes his sort of Busted Open de facto debut as a host and was on with Dave for most of the program, which was very interesting. It's a very quick 2 hours with Dave and Jacob and Keith Elliott Greenberg, noted wrestling historian and writer.
And Keith Elliott was friggin' funny too, man.
I don't know if it's up on the I don't know if it's up on the replay or the podcast yet, but
it will be.
It's absolutely a good listen. Great.
Even earlier with the Sami Zayn was late, so they really had a tight interview. So it was just like all meat in as much, in as little time as possible, and that was even great. And that was under pressure, and they did a great job with him on that too. And you learned a lot in a few minutes. It would have been great if he was there on time and you had a whole half hour or so with him.
Right.
But it was still excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to ask you guys about, I notice a lot in these recent interviews and some other ones that I've heard this week. The general thread is that under the new management with Triple H and the creative team and all that stuff, we know it because we see the product, but they've all sort of confirmed that their entire work life is so much better. So what you're getting is the most creative, most interesting, best stories out of people who maybe could have been giving us this stuff all along. I don't know, but it feel like they've unlocked a whole other thing. It was pretty cool to hear them talking about it, especially Cody.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I was telling Deb a few days ago, yesterday. Yesterday. I wasn't expecting to get as connected to Braun Strowman as I did during that interview yesterday. I was at work. I was at the job site listening to the interview, and I had tears in my eyes listening to him talk about the Wyatt Six and talk about his connection, and the stuff he talked about that was amazing. And I wasn't expecting to get as connected to him. And all of them did an amazing job. Drew McIntyre. I am so connected with him too. He's getting the freedom to be the way he wants to be. And this past year alone, he's shown like he could have been this character all along, but something about Drew wasn't connecting with me. And then now, he's like we talked about last week, he's a troll specialist on social media, and he's
it's
just
not even troll. It's not even trolling. It's he knows how to do what I wish a lot more of them knew how to do on social media. There's very few that do it. You know, we've always talked about like Becky Lynch is great at that. You know, but Drew just took it to a whole other level, especially against CM Punk, because CM Punk is no slouch on social media either.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's perfect. It's perfect.
So it's interesting that you say that, because I just watched Sam Roberts did a live show. He does live shows around the major pay-per-views or PLEs, and his main guest was Drew McIntyre, and they did 45 minutes, and it was incredible. I highly recommend people go it even after SummerSlam, go back and check it out, because Drew shares so much about his journey and his like real personal life. But to your point, he said that if you remember when he was tweeting during his match at WrestleMania 36, because it was recorded, obviously.
Mhm.
He said he thought about that day. It wasn't something he had planned, and he was just like, he literally said, "Fuck it, I'm just going to do it." And he's like, I talked to my wife and my brother-in-law, and they agreed to do the thing. And he's like, since then, he's really leveraged social media in an incredible way. But he also talked about working with Triple H, talking about working with the current writing staff and all the performers and stuff. And he's like, this is me. He's like, at a certain point, like a year and a half ago, I just decided that I need to give people all of me, not just a piece of me, but like the whole thing. He's like, so if I'm saying something on screen, I 100% believe what I'm saying. He said, and so far, he's like, I've gotten slapped on the wrist a few times, but I haven't gotten fired yet. So I'm just going to keep doing my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he's playing the reality and storyline part to a T, where you're questioning is it real what he's talking about, and half the time it's like 50% true, but you just don't know, and he's just adding a little mustard to it, and he's acting like his reactions are the way like the fans like us and like Dave reacted, like, oh, he was screwed, and of course he's sitting home watching himself win the belt, you know.
Yeah.
And he just played into that, our feelings about that time perfectly, even though he's a heel. We're like still Team Drew. At least I am.
Right.
Yeah. And so I wanted to ask you guys about this, because Drew also, he has a criminal law degree, or criminal sciences degree, right? So he's really good he spent a lot of time in the courtroom preparing evidence for lawyers and for legal teams. So his entire thing is, okay, here's my story, here's my character, and I'm going to go pull all of this evidence. He's like, so when I'm telling this story, he's like, I know people said I was supposed to be a bad guy. He goes, but then people kind of look at it and go, yeah, you're kind of right. Punk is a prick. And, you know, he lays out this whole thing about like, this guy sat on his ass and I did all the work. And he literally goes, fuck him. Like, okay. But I believe that he feels that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it comes across in, you know, not only everything he says in his promos, but just his general, like, everything he says in interviews, like, just everything. His whole aura is that he legit just doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I was saying the other day, everything that Drew's done, and we've said it before. We've said it before about Drew. I mean, he's not done anything truly heelish. He's basically stood up for himself, because he's the one getting screwed by CM Punk, and he's basically given CM Punk receipts for what he's done to him. So and there was a package on the preview show a while ago, right before we went live, and it was an interview with CM Punk, and Michael Cole asked him, what do you say to critics that are just waiting for the real CM Punk to show up, you know, to come back, you know, the bitter CM Punk that was here before, and you know, so they're planting seeds. You know, it's just a matter of time, I think, before we see. Of course, CM Punk is he's matured. You know, married life is good to him. His home life is good to him. He's in a different place now than he was before here at WWE. So, but you know, everyone still remembers that old CM Punk.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
John, something I wanted to ask, because I know John pays particular attention to this stuff, where there was a time when you sort of felt like your intelligence was insulted, and they were just forget about old stuff, right? And Drew said in this interview, he said that was the case. Like Vince would always say to him, "Oh, nobody remembers that shit." It's like
Right.
now everything counts, like the rules of
Yeah.
the Nonsense podcast, right? Everything matters.
Yes.
So Drew is talking about, people gave him shit for coming in and attacking Jey Uso when he came to Raw, and he's like, "Do you know what he did in the Bloodline? I still have PTSD over that shit." Like
Right.
he tells this whole story, and you're like, "Well, I guess you're right." Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's well, if we don't, not that long ago, you have to remember, there was a time where, especially anything social media wise, if it didn't come from WWE directly, it didn't happen. Performers weren't able to have outside, use their own Twitter, speak in their own voice. They, WWE shut down Twitch channels. They lost talent over that. They restricted all their outside things that weren't WWE. That's why Mandy Rose has $1 million on OnlyFans now. And that's to see this not so much an evolution, but this going back to that now, yes, and like Sam says, everything matters, everything counts, because instead of rejecting it, it's the old line, I reject your reality and submit my own. Well, that was what they operated on, but now, no, reality is everything. Reality is social media. It's tweets, it's interactions, it's random posts, it's pictures showing up on social media. So it all counts, and then the fact that they're embracing it now and using it, and in a world where we have so much wrestling content on a daily and weekly basis, for the fact that they're able to get above the noise, so to speak, with different stories, with different angles, with different things. They, we may not see it now. We may see it come 6 months ago, and we'll be like, remember when so and so tweeted about this, and then all of a sudden here we are. And it's that connective tissue and connecting the dots that, again, is just making the overall brand and product so much better.
I also think it's easy if you're your authentic self on camera and you're telling your own truth, it's a lot easier to connect those dots rather than trying to remember what your character said, something that was written a year ago. You're like, I remember how I felt. I can speak to that. And we're seeing that. If you look at the card tonight, we're seeing that really across almost all the matches.
Yeah.
So Deb, I wanted to ask you about the Rhea Ripley interview, because we all know Rhea's married. It was very public, her marriage, and the wrestlers that were there. And obviously there's the story that they have going on right now. But when Rhea was asked about it, she talked about family and how their real life friendships had developed. So how does that ring to you?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, like when her and Buddy's wedding picture came out, like there was all this hoopla, if you will, over it. And I didn't, it doesn't matter to me. Like, we are just as invested in this story today as we were before that picture came out. So that picture, like people like made a mountain out of a molehill. Like, oh my God, it completely ruined the whole story. We know she's married. Come on, stop it.
Do you look at it? Do you look at it differently?
Because married too.
Yes.
But do you look at it differently because, like, okay, we just talked about the Drew and Punk thing, and we 100% think that Drew actually hates this man in real life, but we know this other story is a story.
It's very it is very interesting in that sense, and it's really all about how they get us to buy into the story, how they get us emotionally invested in these characters. We're all aware that these are characters, like I've said before, the toothpaste cannot be put back in the tube. The illusion is shattered. And so I think like it's fine to acknowledge that they have real lives outside of their characters, but still it's the way that they bring you into those characters and bring you into that story and get you invested that it's what means something. We are all invested in what's happening with Rhea and Liv and Dom right now, and what's happening with Drew and Punk. We're completely invested in that, and it's like, who gives a fuck if Rhea's married?
So on the flip side, I always, you know, I'm not setting my hair on fire. Like, I know there's people that set their hair on fire and run around crazy about it. But
yeah, please don't, Michael Jackson.
I just said from the standpoint, it doesn't have to happen. Like, why can't they just be like MJF or other, or like Drew? That's why I'll tell you, I'm more invested in Drew and CM Punk and Seth Rollins right now, because I know that there really is a little bit more of legitimacy to that. And then I understand on the flip side, because of all the morons that have to click on the pictures and look and go, I got to see a wedding that I'm not even fucking part of. You know, shit like that.
Hey,
but
I wanted to see their pictures. They both look amazing. Who cares?
I know that there's the Access Hollywood morons out there that need to fucking know every time they take a shit and what they had for dinner. But I'm just not one of those people. And on the flip side, I really don't care. But I'm more invested in Drew than I am in that stuff. I'm still invested in booing the fuck out of Dom, which I think he's going to turn on Rhea. So
yeah, I do too.
Okay.
But I mean, I still love the whole Judgment Day storyline and everything.
Yes.
You know, I love it, you know, and I know Liv is in a relationship, if she still is, with one of the Wyatt Six. Well, why don't we expose that too to everybody and go take a picture at fucking Whataburger?
Stop it. Stop
Damn.
it.
My Whataburger
That's
cup's over
another
there.
thing that they better get a little bit more horror. Yeah, the one
Well,
night
so-
everybody
so-
looks
so back
fucking
to-
murdered, and now all of a sudden it's I solved it. I know now. All of a sudden everybody's
not.
the fucking it's a fucking Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein shtick. It went from a horror show to that. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, we're not talking about that right now.
I still love it. I still love it. Don't worry. Still love all six.
He's got to catch up.
Yeah.
He's got to catch up. He's got a lot of.
We're not talking about
Go
that
ahead.
right now.
He's got a lot of pent-up frustration.
The airing of grievances comes in December.
I'm just gonna say this right now. Ty Valkyrie always looks fabulous. So.
Where did that
Well, of
come
course. That's
Collision is on right
we're
now.
not talking about that at all. Okay, so back to Front Row's question about Judgment Day. So hearing Rhea yesterday on Busted Open talk about the friendship that everyone in the Judgment Day has built. It's obvious. Like I just watched earlier while I was at work, the kickoff show that happened yesterday, and just her and Priest standing there on stage together, you can tell that they're just comfortable with each other. You can just tell there's that friendship, there's that camaraderie. Yep. And it very much comes across on screen, and they are a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question for what's your pick? So we've got Liv versus Rhea. Obviously, we're all sort of predicting that Dom's going to turn on Rhea, right, and side with Liv, which I think would be perfect for the story.
That's
I personally think Liv should retain. Yep, there's our graphics. I think Liv should retain, and then she'll become a power couple with Dom. I think that the Judgment Day should side with Rhea and sort of throw Dom out and sort of figure that piece of it.
I think we're in the midst of Damian and Rhea both being turned super faces, because that's what they're getting right now, and she doesn't have to win the title to make her a face, and Damian Priest doesn't have to hold on to the title to turn him face, and then have him with the struggle of, getting back. I think Liv wins with Dom turning on Rhea. Definitely.
Yeah.
I disagree. I very much disagree. As you can probably tell by my makeup and my shirt,
Let's see.
I'm
Let's say.
rooting.
What's it say?
Oh, you're gonna make me stand up.
No, don't.
You open that can.
Yeah.
You open the can. You gotta show us the shirt now.
There we go.
Nightmare,
Okay.
nightmare reality. Okay.
Nightmare
Yes.
reality.
Um, Yeah, I think Rhea is taking this. I know everybody loves the psycho crazy Jersey girl, but I think Dom is siding with Rhea tonight. If he's going to turn on her, I don't think it happens tonight.
Yeah. All right, just to piggyback off Debs for a second. Remember, Rhea licked it, therefore it's hers. Just wanted to point that out. But however, if you think that Liv Morgan is this absolutely batshit crazy Jersey girl chick, and she is, wait till she loses tonight and the revenge tour she goes on afterwards.
Exactly.
We're not done, but Rhea gets the belt tonight. We're not done by any stretch.
Exactly. It does not end tonight. If
But-
Rhea loses tonight and Liv wins, then the Liv Morgan revenge tour is over. She got it.
Yeah.
We need more.
Yeah.
I see this going out
to WrestleMania next year between them two.
I would agree.
So in this feud, obviously we're for me, I see Liv as the bad guy and Rhea as the good guy. And for me, the money is always the most interesting stories are good guys chasing bad guys for titles. So I would like to see Rhea keep lose this and go on like a bender and just chase after Liv and try to get all her shit back.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a more interesting story. What about you, Tony?
I agree with Mongrovian. I think Dom's going to side with Liv tonight and cause Liv to retain, and it's going to cause a rift in the Judgment Day. There's already an apparent rift happening. There's already you can already see signs of it. I think it's going to be that's going to be the crack in the foundation of the Judgment Day that's going to cause them to split, because Damian, his title run, we've talked about this before. Damian's title run has kind of been a bit lackluster because they've been focusing him in the Judgment Day. He should be like above that, like, you know what I mean? Like his title run is just it doesn't stand alone, because even though he's gone to the ring and he's left them in the back saying, I got this, and he's done his thing in the ring. But I think the Judgment Day is kind of put a damper on that. And I might be the only one who thinks that. But yeah, I think Liv's going to retain. Dom's going to side with Liv tonight. And there was something else. I can't remember if we were talking about this on Zoom or they said on Busted Open. I cannot remember.
You know, we should start writing this shit down when we talk about stuff.
Yeah, we should. We should. we should hire.
We're always like, yeah, we should talk about that on Saturday.
Yeah, we should hire Van Wilder to write shit down for us.
Yeah.
The with their hangout place on Raw was destroyed at the beginning of Raw, and someone said that Dom did it. Could have done it, and then basically played it off like, I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Right.
But I can't remember if we talked about that or it was said on Busted Open. I can't remember.
Right.
I'm getting old.
Well, yeah, so I think to your point that Damian Priest's title run has been overshadowed by the big stories in WWE. Even like we've talked about it here, they talked about it in Busted Open. Everybody we've talked to has said that CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre is the biggest story, most anticipated match, and it's the only match without a title. So you look at that and go, everything's storytelling right now, and I don't think there's a story wrapped around Damian's championship. Damian's part of a story, but it has nothing to do with his title.
Right.
I think you're going to see a definitive switch in Damian Priest, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what he has done to this point, or even his match with Gunther tonight. And regardless of the outcome, it's going to come Monday, I believe, afternoon, after his WWE 24 documentary premieres, and everybody sees it. I think they are using that to do a definitive shift with Damian and basing off the reaction of the documentary on where and how Damian Priest goes forward. And especially how he goes forward in regards to the Judgment Day, regardless of what happens tonight.
Yeah. I like
Okay,
that
John,
idea.
but my question too is like, and I saw John Bay, talked about it. We've seen Finn also be part of this story with the hotel key and the way that, they were working with
Yes.
Liv on the tag title scene. Like,
Right.
does Liv actually come in and retain her title and take Dom, and we find out that she's been working with Finn and JD all along?
Well, she did help them. She did help them win the belts.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
So I say Judgment Day screws it up for Priest and he loses.
Well, that could be something that makes the rift, but again,
But they distract him, but it's still going to be a clean pin from Gunther. Gunther's just too.
Yeah. We've been talking about the quote unquote other Civil War story going on here with the bloodline for how long? Why not have a Judgment Day Civil War?
It's going to be the new Judgment Day. It'll be Dom and Finn.
You conceivably could see Damian Priest and Rhea as the two alphas of the group breaking away and leaving everybody else behind, with defending the tag. Obviously, Dom and Liv, KD and Finn with Liv's help got the tag titles.
And then you set up good feuds back, between
Write
the
it down.
Judgment Day.
It's going to be a Carlito on a pole match. The winner gets Carlito.
I just
Judgment
heard
Day
from
Civil War.
Carlito. Carlito said that's not cool, man.
Oh well. But
you know what's so great? What's so great about your scenario, John, too, is that I've always hated when they just pull tag teams apart for no friggin' reason, or factions or whatever. And you're like, here we are. We've got this incredible faction that have really built, and even I think Rhea even said when they kicked Edge out, like,
Yeah.
everything changed and they became cohesive as a unit. And all of what's been going on over the last 6 months or whatever has been little by little. There's been loyalties pulled in different directions. We've seen different relationships. We've seen titles come and go. So whatever happens, whether they stay together or they're fractured, they disband, whatever, it all feels very organic to me, which I really like.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And to speak to that, kind of everything that's happened every week is, like you said, with the Finn stuff, even just little things, it's like happening organically. Like there's so many things that can be brought back into the storyline that haven't really been explained yet, especially as far as Finn goes.
Yeah. So I do want to ask, so speaking of Damian Priest, Damian Priest versus Gunther, obviously for his world title. I think it's Gunther's time. I think Damian Priest is, like, to Tony's point, he's part of another story that doesn't really revolve around his title. I think Gunther can elevate that title. Like Seth did an amazing job, when he had it on live events and making it meaningful. And I think a guy like Gunther, who is a intercontinental champion of the highest caliber, having the record reign, he's the guy at this point to take that title and do something with it.
I agree.
I completely agree.
I
I
agree.
completely agree. I have Gunther as my pick. And I think Priest losing will add to the whole Judgment Day story. Like if Rhea wins but Priest loses, then it's kind of like a shift in the dynamic within the Judgment Day. But yeah, it's Gunther's time. I mean, if you just listen to him speak, like on Busted Open yesterday, and I listened to, what was it, one of the Ringer Wrestling podcasts earlier today that he was on as well during the whole media stuff that they were doing yesterday. yeah, it's just his time. He is a champion.
Well,
Whether
well,
he has a belt or not, he is a champion, and it's his time for it.
what I particularly like, and it's particularly how they have built this story leading to the match with Priest. When was the last time, honestly, any of us can remember a legit heel champion in WWE? Gunther absolutely is laying the groundwork with his words, with his verbiage, with his promos, with all the stuff that he said.
Just his presence.
He has that air to him. He has that European douchebag air to him. That that if he does win, he is going to be the most hated heel champion that they have in WWE right now. And that's no easy feat considering who your champions are now and how much baby faces they are. So I'm very interested. And it's also, this was a very close second to my match of the night when we get to that part. But I'm very interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, John, that's an interesting point because Roman was technically a heel for the majority of his run as WWE Undisputed Universal Champion. I think I got that right.
Right.
But over time, like they told the story, he became sympathetic. And even though Cody was the uber babyface, you still appreciated the work that he had done. So a guy like Gunther, and he talked about it on Busted Open about carrying yourself like a champion, being trained to have this persona and this air.
Yes.
It's not arrogance if you can back it up.
Right.
So
exactly.
I don't look at him as a bad guy unless he does something dastardly, but really all he does is go in and beat the shit out of people and win matches.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
when you're into Japanese strong style and European strong style wrestling, there's no easy way around that.
No
shit.
easy way out. Oh,
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're beating the crap out of each other, and there's no arrogance there. If there's any arrogance, it gets twisted and elbowed right the frig out of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to mention about Gunther as well. He said it on Busted Open and other interviews that came out today and yesterday about King of the Ring. Like a lot of people asked him, about not having the whole king persona and why he hasn't taken on that persona. And he said to him and kind of the way he was brought up in the business and his kind of attitude towards pro wrestling as a sport, to him, King of the Ring, like it's the crown is a trophy. Like he won a tournament. It's on his list of accolades. And it's to him, it's not a character or a gimmick. It's, I won this tournament. It's part of my repertoire now as far as, my ladder of success going up.
And
I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, we got to all agree that we don't have to, but we got to all agree that if he took on that persona where I'm wearing the crown and I'm going to wear the cape and walk around with my scepter, it
would be stupid.
It would have been too hokey of something. That might have been something that somebody else, if they were in control, might have made him do, but not now. No, Gunther is just like you said, he's the champion of the club. That's what he wanted. He won the tournament, and that's it. So next year when the tournament comes around, he enters again if he wants to or not. But that's all there is. Yeah, you're right. It's just a trophy.
Well, he also talked about how the previous administration he kept referring to, Vince wanted him to do silly things and things that were out of character, and he hated it. But with Triple H, he felt like he got to be the Gunther that he wanted to be. And, to Dave's point, like nobody even cares about the name Walter anymore because he's built such a, he's put so much equity into that name now. Nobody gives a shit about the name change. They're just like, oh no, that's my dude. Like he's amazing.
Can we just all agree that Triple H has pretty much tried to repair or bring back any wrongs that were done to characters that him and Sean helped create, among other people too? and tried to bring them back and give them a little bit more of a shine, like even DIY, you know.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about before. Like almost every interview that I heard this week, everyone at some point has mentioned they love working for Triple H. Like they love this new way of doing things. And Drew said,
and it's not on a script either.
No, well, I mean, it is. I mean, it is still scripted, but it's in their own voice. Drew was saying that they're so collaborative with the writing team and because of course you still need to tell a story. You need to have approvals on things and whatnot. But he said, I just sit, I put ideas out there. He said, Hunter brings me back a little bit. Sometimes I want to go a little too far, but he's like, all that stuff is us. He's like, across the board, all the locker room is, doing that. And so I think that's going to be super. I'm very interested in that. The match that I'm least interested in, and I'm still want to pick this one apart a little bit, is Bayley and Nia Jax. I don't get this story. I mean, Nia's. Yeah. I don't get it. Somebody help me.
I completely agree with you.
Of course, she's queen of the ring and she's challenging. That's about it.
I get that, but
it's a stepping stone match. It's a stepping stone match. That's all it is. Don't look any past what it is. The story here is not Bayley and Nia. The story here is Tiffy time. It's Tiffany Stratton. That's
especially with that stylish, new case.
Yes, she has her new, I'm a Barbie girl briefcase, but that's the story.
Well, Barbie wishes she was that fashionable.
That is that what they're. It's because you're right. It doesn't make a lot of sense other than that Nia won. She's facing Bayley. Bayley at this point doesn't need a championship. So you want to call it transitional. I just think that this is going to be a bridge into something bigger down the road. And the bigger is Tiffany Stratton.
So two things, John, and I want to talk about this because I feel like Tiffany Stratton, I was really excited when she won the briefcase because she's so good at what she does from a talent, from a character perspective. I don't want her cashing in anytime soon.
No.
Let her run with this thing.
Yeah, she just got the pink briefcase last night. It makes absolutely no sense for her to cash in and win tonight, especially with all the kind of equity and effort they've put into building this character. It makes no sense to just go through it in just one night.
Especially since the men's one was cashed in the same night that they won.
Right. But that also led us to this here. But however, my counterpoint is we have already seen Tiffany kind of go behind Nia's back or at least hint at cashing in on Bayley. So that's why I say this is a bridge. The obvious conclusion is Nia walks out as champion. Now you have these two as a sister gimmick thing going on. The whole time, who's putting the knife in whose back to get to the belt first? That's the story going forward because that's going to be a hell of a lot more interesting.
I think eventually it's going to be Tiffy cashing in that briefcase on Nia, not Bayley.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But
I think unfortunately Bayley's not really that much part of this story.
No,
it's not about
I don't either. Yeah, and it's not.
She's another one that doesn't need a belt. She doesn't need a title. She's Bayley. She comes out and starts hugging everybody again. She's over it.
And John, just quick bit of housekeeping. I believe tonight's Nation's Corner show is the first show taped before a live studio audience.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You have seen her in this chat, but she is a mere feet away from me here at the secret lair located in South Jersey. And I'm being run in on. Yes.
Hey, Brooke.
Hey, Brooke.
My number one fan and greatest creation, Brooke, is here live in Jersey with us tonight and joining us, and will be enjoying the SummerSlam festivities with us as well.
And she just made her YouTube live debut.
Look at John. John just won hands down a Jameson drinking contest yesterday at some
I did
undisclosed location.
Somewhere on the Jersey
and,
Shore.
You know, and the person was that challenged him was very foolish, and his daughter Brooke there tried to warn the poor bastard, but he took it anyway. And look at John. John doesn't look any worse for wear.
Well, looks are deceiving. It was rough Friday morning. It was a rough Friday morning, but I made it through.
Well, listen,
I did make it through.
And it ain't day drinking unless you start in the morning.
That's what my exact thought was, and that's why I did.
I heard some famous person say that quote. I don't know who it was.
Me. That was me.
Okay. Oh my God. Keep us on track, Frodo.
All right.
He's trying.
I'm trying. So, oddly enough, like the title match with Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa, I wasn't terribly invested in where they were running with this up until, honestly, like last night. I thought Cody's promo finally called out stuff that we're seeing on TV, and we're like, why isn't anybody saying anything about this? And he did. He's like, you're fake ass bloodline. Like, you're not the real tribal chief. You are not the guy.
As seen in the audience on SmackDown last night, Timu bloodline, Timu tribal chief. Yeah, absolute pop for me.
Yeah,
so good.
And I remember saying it, I think last week or the week before, that I felt that it was intentional that Solo was being portrayed as not the real tribal chief. That you know, they weren't trying to pull the wool over our eyes and make us believe that, you know, he's not only the rightful tribal chief, but kind of the leader in that spot. Because we've seen, like, obviously something was off. Like, obviously he just didn't quite feel the part. And yeah, finally Cody called it out and said, well, you ain't the tribal chief. When he comes back, I'll deal with him.
Yeah. I'll just beat the wannabe.
And so call out since you guys mentioned the Timu tribal chief. That sign for me won the night. And to anybody thinking of writing, so-and-so eats corn the long way, just rethink, and just try and come up with something creative. Okay.
Yeah, it was funny maybe the first one or two times we saw the sign on TV.
And that was 3 years ago.
But now, right. But now it's like, all right, you know, be more creative. Come up with something original.
Yes. And
maybe in 1998.
When someone's cutting a promo on stage in the ring there, and your first instinct is to yell, "What? Please bite your tongue."
Yeah, right.
I mean, literally bite your tongue and let it fall off.
Yeah. Another point from last night, Cody, making references to stuff in his promo. I absolutely loved the reference that he made about the throne in AEW when he broke it. That was amazing. Like, I think that's the first time he's brought that up on WWE television.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Yeah,
but that's everything counts, right? Like, he's not taking shots at AEW, but it's like, hey, I did this thing over there that everybody saw and was talking about.
Right, and
I'm going to throw that in. I'm going to throw it in.
And
here.
It meant something.
You're right. You're right, Frodo. Everything counts. We know, we heard it from our friend Sam, and we've been watching. When you see the biography, the legends, all these shows on the A&E, you know, when you see those shows, those count. When you hear interviews and you hear interviews on Busted Open and other podcasts and shows, that counts. When you see Pat McAfee shows shit happening or people say stuff on there, it counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I honestly, like, and I think everybody sort of beat this to death, but like, what match should main event or what match should go on last? And for me, if Roman's not returning tonight, then it shouldn't be the Cody solo match. There's 3 other matches that should be in that spot. For me, if it's going to be a bloody brawl, then that's Drew and Punk with Seth. We keep forgetting to mention that Seth Rollins is the guest referee. That's going to be a whole element that people aren't even talking about that.
Right.
And Drew pretty much promised on the kickoff show that the violence will be so devastating that Seth is going to actually feel bad for Punk and stop the match.
Oh, wow. Those are strong words right there.
Well, it
Yeah.
is because it is that big of a deal. It's
Yep.
that big of a deal to all three of those men.
I don't
that
know.
Brooke woman's pretty smart, by the way.
Yeah,
In the
she,
in the history of having special guest referees, I can't imagine. I don't think any of those matches ever went over well.
Right.
And
Hey.
I think this referee is going to screw over both of these guys.
Yes, in some way, shape, or form, Seth Rollins is going to cause shenanigans for both of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Drew did tell Seth, don't wear heels or platforms because I don't need you breaking your ankle and not being able to count that 3.
Right. A point I would like to make right quick, John. And in the words of Tommy Dreamer, Brooke is the epitome of the hashtag that you created. Nation's Corner on location.
Yes, she is.
Oh boy,
that's like double entendre. Isn't
I
it?
love it.
Love you, Tommy Dreamer. Love you, Tommy.
Double
Love you.
entendre.
Irregardless, I love him.
Irregardless.
If you know, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's not be gratuitous.
Yes.
But just the reason that I think this match is going to go on last, and I really didn't think so until last night when they made it a Bloodline Rules match, and you go, all right, so now we're going to have interference. We're going to have someone's going to have to come and save Cody, enter Roman, like all that stuff now makes sense. So to me, I think that's where they're going to end up going
Here's
with
the
that.
thing.
It
should be it should be a main event. Call me old school and traditionalist, and I don't give a fuck. Your main title is your main event. Whatever the biggest title on the card is, that's your main event, regardless of the story. And then, yes, there's many powerful arguments for other matches on the card to be the main event. But also, however,
when you got 10 pounds or 12 pounds to hold over your head at the end of a match, that's the end. That's the end of the night.
Yeah, we always know. Yeah, what's the last thing fans remember? But at this point,
but four of these matches have titles, have singles. I mean, 4 of them are world titles. So like that doesn't. What John? I'm sorry to interrupt, but your point is exactly right. It's not that the women's title isn't important, or either of them, or that Damian Priest. This is the most important title in the company.
Right. But if we don't get Roman tonight, are we coming away disappointed?
It depends on how they end the show. If Roman's not coming back tonight, then I don't think this match should end the night. If it's just going to be a match, if there's nothing special about it and it's just a match, then no. Okay.
I got a little theory. We're gonna get a double swerve. We're gonna have Jimmy Uso come back first. Jimmy's gonna come back. And then we're going to get the double swerve. We're going to be like, oh, it's just Jimmy Uso. Then we're going to get Roman. But I don't know if it's going to be him coming back to say, hey, Solo, fuck you, or is he coming back to help Cody? I don't think it's necessarily to help Cody and pick him up and have his back. I don't think it's going to be that.
I have one last little quick bit of housekeeping for this comment here. My studio audience can GFY, and so can you, John Bay.
GFY.
Oh,
and there it is.
The world is right once again.
Have Brooke say it.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Well, I am super excited for this show, and we did promise to end a little early tonight to let folks go get your snacks and drinks and all that stuff, because you only got
I have to eat.
7 or 8 minutes left.
8
You
minutes.
have to eat still. Yeah.
I have to eat. Still.
So that's
I haven't eaten all
real
day.
quick, that's my last question for you guys. What are we eating tonight for SummerSlam?
Well, I'm home
we are
by myself,
a plethora of
so
snacks and booze.
chips and dip and alcohol.
Yes.
That's what I'm eating.
I just have one quick last prediction I want to put out. I always sit and look at the card and say, what's my match of the night? And originally, I thought, no question, Damian Priest, Gunther. But I have a dark horse winner that I hope I am right on, and I know it will not disappoint. Sami Zayn versus Von Breakker for the IC title is the match of the night.
We didn't get to talk
Sami
about
Zayn,
that, but
we've seen it once already, but Sami Zayn, as great as he is, tonight is the night that Braun Breaker proves that the hype on him is real and that is a star in this company for at least the next 10 years. And Sami is going to make him go into very deep water to get that belt.
Yeah, agreed.
We definitely get
you know
Paul
what I
Heyman
could
back
you know what
tonight,
I could
so.
make to eat? I'm gonna make you guys' mouth water real quick. I'm the master of grilled cheese sandwiches, and I'm going to make a grilled cheese sandwich with sliced chorizo in it on sourdough bread. So think about that.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I love chorizo.
I hate you.
Chef's kiss.
I hate you.
Well, I already ate.
Why don't we have
Shannon-
grilled cheese with chorizo?
Come on over.
Well, I already ate. Shannon made us some nice ribs tonight. We had
Ribs.
ribs tonight. So
why don't
I'm
we
all
have
good. You're the host.
Nobody
You should
knows
be
how much I like
preparing the food.
Goddamn freeloader.
Yeah, right? Oh my god.
Hey, I witnessed her buy you a cheesesteak once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once.
Yes. That you all happen to be in the same area. Trust me, it's one of many. Amongst other things.
All right, folks. It is SummerSlam. I hope everybody enjoys the show. Tony, where can people find you?
You can find me at Tony Justice, AJFA. And if you're a Metallica fan, like I know all of us are, I don't know about Brooke, but I know all of us are. You know what that means? Ooh.
Happy birthday, Papa Het.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
How about you, John?
Yeah.
You can get me on the Twitter and the Instagram at Twisted Metal Fab. Of course, always, thank you, Deb. Hashtag on location, Nation's Corner on location. Got some interesting interviews coming up, and including an exclusive one that is in the works that I'm not quite ready to announce yet, but I will be soon. And of course, you can always keep up with the exploits of the most dangerous weapon in professional wrestling. Of course, I am talking about AK9K, the Ass Kicker 9000, and you can follow his exploits at Ass Kicker 9K on the Instagram.
Yes.
Nice. Mike?
Mongrovian Mike. You can find me anywhere on the Twitter, on the Instagram, Mongrovian Mike. I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Dirty in Texas.
Yes.
Getting the Dudley Boys Cup for me, but I also want to say that the nation out there is really sticking together. I know personally, front row, you went out and got a cup. You know, you got a cup and sent it to RA. This way, he didn't have to drive like 4 hours to get his. Dad,
he's a bit away.
Yeah. I know Chad in Albany sent
no, not Chad.
Danielle out to get a whole
Chad. We're not celebrating Chad. We're celebrating Chad's wife. Chad's wife.
Danielle.
Shout out to Danielle. Did the legwork.
Yes.
Not Chad.
Shout out to Danielle.
But it's just people in the nation that they know that there's not Bojangles all over the place. But this is what we do for Dave LaGreca, and we go out. We're having quarter pounders with cheese.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to
suffering.
Bojangles. But thanks.
Nice. How about you, Deb?
I'm at That's So Debonair on the Twitter machine and the Instagram, and I'm sure you guys can't hear it, but it's thundering so insanely here that my building just shook.
Wow.
Like that was ridiculous. So hopefully my power doesn't go out, because if I miss any of SummerSlam, I'm calling PP and complaining.
Being watching on your phone the whole night.
Yeah. Oh, and real quick before we stop, I know we all put a lot of love out there on social media, but congratulations to Jacob Henry for officially signing with WWE. you know, we
Yeah,
all
let's be a
knew
big
from,
star.
you know, I think all of us here have met him at one time or another. We've all known for years now that he is a bona fide star in the making. So yeah,
Yes.
congrats, Jacob.
Yeah.
Very well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
the future.
Yep.
Absolutely. I adore Jacob. We've all gotten to spend some time with him, and that man can talk wrestling
Yes.
for hours.
Hey,
Yes.
not only
He's still
that, not only
technically a
that,
kid.
the Henrys raised two wonderful kids, man. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yes.
what Mark Henry achieved, you know, from his background. I just watched that biography on Mark Henry,
Mhm.
and you'll
Yes.
all understand why he's
Mhm.
different and he's special. And
He's different.
him and his wife raised two really great kids, like
Yeah.
amazing.
Because that's
Yep.
what
Yeah.
he do.
That's what they do.
He's
Agreed.
different.
Well, I am PW Front Row across all the socials. You can find us at Nation's Corner on X or Twitter, and The Nation's Corner across all other socials. Y'all go enjoy SummerSlam. We'll see y'all next week.
Hey,
Thanks for being
Clive, you want to see my scar?
Hey, Doc, pull him up here. Check my oil.